This is part 2, episode 160. Watching the army leader leave, Luo Feng turned to Dylan. Dylan, I'll be troubling you to follow me to the Gold Horn race home. Ha ha, Your Majesty, I've never gone to such a place before. Dylan's eyes gleamed with curiosity. Another race. This is a race completely different from humanity. To be able to survive and pass down for countless years in the universe, such a race would definitely have its own unique culture and traditions. It's definitely worth seeing. And the name Shi Luo Duo, I've heard of him before. He was a truly powerful being in the universe. Luo Feng nodded. What a joke. There were trillions of races in the universe, and among them were countless that created spirit reader weapons, but finally humanity picked a few and named them the 9 godly weapons. Obviously every one of them had incredibly deep construction. Unlike the spirit weapons normal people could create, the 9 godly weapons were first extremely powerful and also suitable for many people to use. Of course, the most suitable spirit weapon would undoubtedly be the one that one had been created for himself. Only when one does that would that truly be suitable. Once Luo Feng settled his business, he placed the Mosha clansmen back in the internal world, leaving the core within the human body. After which, he brought Dylan, the 5-sector Lord Guards and the Gold Horn Pagoda Squadron into the Yunmo planet ship, while heading towards their home. Within the Dark Universe, the Yunmo planet ship was progressing at 50 times light speed. I didn't expect your home to actually be within the Ganwu universe country. Luo Feng was very shocked, sitting opposite to Elder Sai Fan Chi and drinking some specialty drinks. The Elder said, in the universe, humanity is one of the pinnacle races. There are many other races that support humanity and thus survive. Since they are subservient to humanity, for safety, naturally they live within their territory. They will use one of humanity's secret regions and create their own vast continents, becoming their place of living. Luo Feng nodded. According to what the Elder had said earlier, the place where they lived was at the side regions of the Ganwu universe country, in a secret region that was rather dangerous. Living within the universe secret region, HM. Luo Feng muttered, I wonder just how many supporting races there are. That's a secret. The Elder smiled. There are definitely many other races supporting humanity. At least in numbers, only the upper echelon of humanity would know the exact figures. And during war, these races are also beneficial weapons. Luo Feng nodded. Weapons. Humanity could really be using many of these races as cannon fodder, leaving many tedious tasks to them. For example, killing Yao Hai and Jeffrey, the two of them were secretly working for another pinnacle race, the Bug Clan. Helping humanity this way may attract the invasion of the Bug Clan. Hence for cautiousness, they let the Gold Horn clan do it instead. They risk their lives in such dangerous tasks, aren't I the same? Luo Feng thought. No matter how much of a genius he was, he would still need to accept and do dangerous missions. This was the tradition of the Virtual Universe Company over countless years, and it wouldn't change just for one. The distance from Red Dawn planet towards the side regions of the Ganwu universe country's Gold Horn race home was pretty far, about 1.200 million light-years. Even in the Yunmo planet ship, with 50 times light speed, it still took close to 3 months. Time flowed on. In the blink of an eye, the ship had been flying for over 3 months. Luo Feng, we've arrived at the destination. Within a minute we'll begin universe travel. Barbata's clear and childish voice resounded within the quarters. Luo Feng, who sat crossed-legged, opened his eyes. Still not completed. Luo Feng cursed. Long before receiving the mission, his internal world had already reached the pinnacle of the domain Lord level 9. A point where it could break through at any point. However, this breakthrough had some leeway. The faster ones would break through soon after reaching that point, the slower ones on the other hand would have to wait for decades. Sector Lord level. The moment I step into Sector Lord level, I can train the 10,000 soul control technique, and after that I can truly control the Bug Clan Mother Ness. The moment I enter Sector Lord level, my consciousness can access the universe energies, and my law comprehension speed will rise dramatically. The moment I enter Sector Lord level, I'll have the opportunity to create a third clone. The moment I enter Sector Lord level, my internal world will change at its foundation, and special energies will be produced. Luo Feng was anxious. He could not help but worry. As the pinnacle matured form of the Golden Horned Beast, once he reached the Sector Lord level, his Golden Horned Beast would truly be matured. However, right now, standing at the entrance of it, it seemed like he could break through at any time, yet it hasn't happened. He felt very helpless. Being anxious and impatient won't help. Luo Feng suddenly got up. Me stepping into the sector lord level is akin to a carp turning into a dragon. There'll be evolution in many areas. Whether it's controlling the mother nest, or the third clone, they will all have an extremely important effect on my growth. Bug Clan, they were also a pinnacle race. To be able to control a mother nest, it definitely wouldn't be weaker than having a powerful army. And the final clone, this to Luo Feng was the most important. Having tasted the power of having more bodies, Luo Feng was very clear that this third chance of creating a clone, if he didn't use it well, it would be a waste. However, if used well, it could completely become a heavenly thing. Countless years ago, our entire Gold Horn race moved here. Back then countless sector lords used their constructing world energy to create large pieces of worlds. 10,000 tribes worth of countless sector lords working together, and in an instant they created a continent of over 100 million kilometer large amounts of undying created large amounts of continents within their god counties, and moved it into the universe, hence they are all gathered together. And the Doyens destroyed the space debris all around us, allowing free space about without any obstruction. Elder Fan Chi's eyes were filled with a peculiar glow, hence, we've had our own vast world for our race to survive for trillions of years, Laos world. Luo Feng went silent. Looking at the endless vast world in the space outside, he felt shock within. All he could imagine was the universe night Doyens of the Gold Horn race destroying all the debris, creating a vast enough space. Countless undyings constructing continents within their own god countries, and an even larger amount of sector lords all building the world, all working together, resulting in this vast continent. What level of spirit was this? Elder Fan Chi, how big is Laos world? Luo Feng asked. The ground is 300 billion kilometers thick, the diameter of the world is 2.1 light years. The elder said with pride. Why doesn't the world separate? Luo Feng asked. It wasn't such that with enough continents put together, they could form this enormous continent. It was just like how an incredibly huge planet could crumble and form a black hole. Even though the universe laws weren't exactly as solidified in the secret regions, it still wasn't as simple as just building something. Laos world, it's also a weapon. Elder Fan Chi smiled. Actually, you should have seen such large continents in the universe, like your virtual universe company's headquarters. Luo Feng nodded. These supercontinents, especially those normally found in large pieces of space, they are all constructed. They aren't naturally formed. The elder said, as for the secret regions, there's all sorts of wonders in there, you'd occasionally see huge continents. However, to actually build a supercontinent, it's very troublesome. Hence, a very normal way in the universe is to build a continent like building a weapon. This results in the continent being extremely stable and lasting for eternity. The elder laughed. In theory, the countless sector lords working together back then from the 10,000 tribes could have built an enormous continent themselves. Why did the Undyings have to show up? It's because the weapon required it. Luo Feng was stunned. The technique to create weapons, that was what made the construct of the continent stable. The Yunmo planet ship continued towards Laos world. Confirm authorization. A signal was sent straight to the Yunmo planet ship. Luo Feng looked at the details of the signal above the control board. Turning to look at Elder Fan Chi, he smiled and said, no problem, let me. Elder Fan Chi vanished from within the Yunmo planet ship and appeared outside, releasing undying energy that permeated into the continent of Laos world. Teleportation is truly powerful, no ships or anything can stop him. Luo Feng exclaimed. Even with a ship with its powerful defense, against teleportation, it's nothing. Unless that ship can block space ripples. Dylan said softly. Elder Fan Chi appeared back within the control room. We can now enter Laos world without getting attacked. Elder Fan Chi smiled. If we were taking our ship from before, that's within the security system, it wouldn't be that troublesome. However, that ship's speed is far from your majesty's. When the mission was first given to us, we traveled in the dark universe for close to a year. Luo Feng smiled. Even Hu Yangbo's Yunmo planet ship back then wasn't as fast as the current ship. This version was upgraded by the virtual universe company. Hence, it could reach such speeds. This technology and skill was secret within humanity itself. Much less the subservient races. The Yunmo planet ship entered Laos world and continued to fly about. Looking through the ship, Luo Feng could see the large fields of grass, forests, mountain ranges, rivers, and oceans. What was even more incredible, however, was the ice and snow worlds. Most regions had very low temperatures, even the surface was mostly covered in thick layers of snow. As our Goldhorn race people prefer lower temperatures than humanity, the world we built had this in consideration. Elder Fan Chi stood by the control board and looked down through the external simulator. It was almost like they were standing in mid-air looking down. That's the Cheongyang tribe, a middle-level tribe with about 10 undyings. The elder pointed at a community of buildings and castles below. Middle-level tribe? Luo Feng asked curiously, then the pagoda. Upper-level tribe? Kashna said proudly behind Luo Feng. Your Majesty, our pagoda tribe is a powerful upper-level tribe. Much stronger than the Cheongyang tribe. Our tribe has 2 emperor-level undyings, and they probably don't even have 1 emperor level. Luo Feng inhaled a cold breath when he heard that. He had heard of the 10,000 tribes earlier. Just 1 tribe alone could be that strong. As for 10,000 tribes, how powerful was that? The overall distribution of the tribes, how is it? Luo Feng asked. When we moved over 1 trillion years ago, we had 10,000 tribes. The elder smiled. As for now, we are not really sure. However, some tribes have dispersed while new ones have formed, and Laos world is simply too huge, we are not sure. As for the level distribution, the tribes have lower level, mid, upper level and the highest Doyen tribe. Doyen tribe? Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. There's a tribe for Doyens. No. The elder said, the top 10 tribes in Laos world have the right to gain this title. And as only the top 10 have this right, over 1 trillion years, it's always been 10. All of these 10, all have a Doyen stationed there from the institution. This is also the special privilege of being a Doyen tribe. Luo Feng was shocked, Dylan was shocked too. This meant there were at least 10 Doyens. I never expected such a powerful force to be present, not from the Ganwu universe countryside, but rather a race hidden within a secret region. Luo Feng was shocked. Haha, shocked. The elder shook his head. There's nothing to be shocked about. The true strength of humanity is the virtual universe company, the huge Axe Dojo, the Universe First Bank, the Universe Galaxy Bank and the Universe Mercenary Alliance, the 5 Leviathans. As for the 1008 universe countries, they are only tools for governing the normal people. Humans, the reason they are a pinnacle race is because they have absolute powerful force. Luo Feng nodded. There was no doubt about this. To occupy a primal universe, what joke was that? To have so many subservient races, naturally they could dominate over them. The Yunmo planet ship flew high in the skies over large mountains, over ice oceans, and after about 10 days, it finally landed. It had reached the Pagoda tribe. That night, the Pagoda tribe organized a ceremony for Luo Feng and specially prepared the food humans liked. Your Majesty Luo Feng of humanity, let me toast you. Thanks. Luo Feng lifted his glass and drank with the large amounts of undyings around. Looking at the members around, he was shocked within. From their chats, he had found out that the Pagoda tribe had 2 emperor-level undyings, the tribe leader and Fan Chi, 12 official-level undyings, hundreds of normal undyings, tens of thousands of sector lords, 1 million domain lords and over 10 million universe levels. The entire tribe population, however, was only about 1 billion. Not even that of the Chinese. One tribe, with 1 billion people, yet over 10 millions of them were at universe level. This race sure has a huge difference from humanity. Luo Feng was shocked within. Surprised that we have so many strong warriors. Elder Fan Chi sat before Luo Feng and smiled. Every human friend we bring over is surprised by this. However, you can imagine, the population of humanity and their reproduction ability, just how shocking it is. And our race's population is just that few. The upper-level tribe only has 1 billion. As for the 10,000 tribes, how many would that make? Any galaxy of humanity would far exceed them. Just one universe country alone had over 100 million galaxies. The universe is fair. The elder said. Those high in population, their strong proportion is small. Those small in population have a high proportion of strong. Just like the upper-level space beasts, they are all sector lords at maturity, and some even have heavenly natural abilities. Like the bug clan mother nest, they are pitiful in numbers, yet all of them are incredibly strong. And your humanity has huge territories, hence the number of geniuses and strong warriors far exceed our race. Territories. Luo Feng was curious. Luo Feng. A powerful voice resounded, a man covered in green, almost like steel. Tribe leader. Luo Feng quickly stood up. I've already written a personal letter. In just a moment, Elder Saifan Chi will take it with you and head towards the sacred city. The leader's voice was like lightning, booming and powerful. Without tribe's request and Elder Saifan Chi personally going there, the doyen stationed at the sacred city would not let you in and let you study the sacred tablet. Thank you so much. Luo Feng smiled. Ha, you are a friend of our pagoda tribe, there's no need for thanks. The leader laughed. Luo Feng smiled and toasted. After leaving pagoda tribe, they had been flying at light speed. With the Yunmo planet ship's advanced technology, it was still easy for them to see and record everything that happened outside. Luo Feng, Dylan and the rest of them gained profound understanding of the culture of the race. On the 18th day of flight, they were just about to reach the sacred city. On our way here, we frequently saw battles and killings below. What's going on? Luo Feng came out of his resting quarters. While looking through some footage, he asked Elder Saifan Chi curiously. Our race's rules are such that, as long as one reaches universe level, he'd have to leave the tribe and wander about, either training outside for 1,000 years, or reaching domain lord level before they can return to the tribe. Elder Saifan Chi said. And wandering outside, battles and killings are very normal. They aren't forbidden? Luo Feng asked. The race originally had a smaller population to begin with. Why forbid it? The strong have to be trained through battles. Elder Saifan Chi said indifferently. What's more, only after becoming an undying will one be able to stand at the pinnacle of the race. Otherwise, those with short lifespans, the normal race people that cannot become absolute warriors, they are useless to the survival of the race. Your Majesty, look, ahead it is the sacred city. Elder Saifan Chi said. The Yunmo planet ship slowed down. Luo Feng looked down. There was an incredibly majestic old city that stood amidst the wilderness. This city had a diameter of 100,000 kilometers, and its most dazzling feature was a pure golden statue that reached up to 10,000 kilometers in height. Even from the ship, Luo Feng could see it clearly. The ship descended. As the cabin door opened, Luo Feng, Dylan, the 5 sector lords, Kashna and Elder Saifan Chi all got off, after which Luo Feng kept his ship. Do you see that statue? The elder pointed at the most dazzling pure golden statue in the city. That's Shiluo Duo. The great Shiluo Duo. At any point in time, there will always be countless warriors rushing over to pay their respects to this place. The entire statue is 12,319 kilometers tall. The legs alone are 1,622 kilometers. Luo Feng nodded, feeling excitement within. A being able to make an entire race worship for countless years. Let's enter the city. The elder smiled. Your Majesty must remember one point. As the sacred city is a special place and countless geniuses of our Goldhorn race are gathered here, these are the future of our race. Hence, killing is forbidden in the city, one has to go outside to the huge arena if they want to kill. Luo Feng and the group entered the ancient sacred city. There were many residents within. Shiluo Duo. Luo Feng stood in the plaza, looking up at the huge golden statue. Its eyes seemed to encompass the endless universe itself, but without a sense of strictness or force. Rather, there was a calm tranquility. No matter how impatient one was, as long as he looked at the statue, his troubles would disappear. Even though I'm not looking at the real person, just from this statue. It's no wonder he could lead an entire race within the vast universe. Just as Luo Feng was recalling the achievements of this great being of the Goldhorn race, many of the clansmen in the plaza all looked over curiously and shocked at Luo Feng's group. Look, humans. Humans. I smelt the blood and flesh from the blood and flesh life forms, however they don't have any life imprint on them. The disturbance go bigger and bigger. More and more of the Goldhorn clansmen discovered the humans. It was rare to see humans in Laos world, however one would occasionally see some invited humans here at the sacred city. Those that do come over were exceptional. Luo Feng noticed he was being watched. Let's go. Luo Feng ordered. Yes, Your Majesty. The group complied. Suddenly. Human, you are only Domain Lord level 9 and you actually dare come to our Goldhorn race sacred city. You must be one of the absolute geniuses of humanity. I, Canoon, challenge you. A gold statue-like youth with completely dark red skin and a dark golden long rod on his back roared at Luo Feng. Challenge. Luo Feng looked at this youth. This youth was also Domain Lord level 9. Your Majesty needn't bother. Elder Sai Fan Chi said as he stood beside Luo Feng. As there are indeed many humans that come to the sacred city, of which many are absolute geniuses, there have been competitions between the geniuses of humanity versus our race's geniuses. And there have been many stories, hence many of the younger generations like to challenge the human geniuses when they see them. However, Your Majesty needn't bother about them and they won't dare chase you. After the elder finished speaking, he sent out ripples of formless undying energy. It caused the group of Gold Horn clansmen to jump away in shock. Humph. Elder Sai Fan Chi snorted coldly. No one dared stop them anymore. He smiled and said, "Let's go visit the doyen in the palace." Immediately, Luo Feng and the group left the plaza amidst the countless gazes. Humans. There are humans in the sacred city. The leader is a Domain Lord level 9. Must be a genius of humanity. An absolute genius of humanity has come to the sacred city. The news spread swiftly like a whirlwind throughout the entire sacred city. There gathered all of the geniuses from the 10,000 tribes of the Goldhorn race. These geniuses all had a competitive spirit. Once they knew an absolute genius of humanity had come to the city, a sort of pride in their race made them all get excited and riled up, all wanting to look for the human to challenge him. Luo Feng and the group, however, had already arrived at the Doyen Palace. Since he had possessed the golden horned beast, even though he had seen much of the universe and experienced much, he had never seen a second space beast, not even a corpse, much less a living space beast. This was the first time he saw another space beast. However, this space beast was completely subdued with the black star chain piercing through its body. Ha ha. Elder Sai Fan Chi laughed. Your Majesty is shocked at the space beast. Ha ha. This space beast is one of the 12 pinnacle bloodlines of the space beast, the Huisuo beast, Sector Lord Pinnacle. Even though it's only at the Sector Lord Pinnacle level, its true strength makes it so that many normal undyings aren't even a match for it. It's terrifying. Luo Feng stared at the beast that was bound like a pet, feeling the anguish and pain it emanated. How long has it been? Luo Feng asked. How long what? The elder was stunned. How long has this space beast been captured? Luo Feng asked solemnly. About 20 million years. The elder exclaimed, the space beast's lifespan is long. Our Goldhorn race's sector Lord life space is only about 1,000 eras, this space beast however, is 10 times that. Why is it bound? Luo Feng asked. The elder felt like Luo Feng's tone wasn't quite right. This space beast was captured by a doyen back then, however it refused to submit. What level of position is a doyen? A sector Lord Pinnacle space beast is useless to it, however it's extremely rare, hence he captured it. Right, doyens are universe knights, naturally they won't care about a space beast. Luo Feng said. However, this space beast is very obstinate, it refused to submit. Back then it even madly howled and we could hear it frequently. It struggled so hard till its body was injured and its veins, for etc. were damaged. Elder Sai Fan Chi exclaimed, it's bound by its life core and body, hence no matter how it struggles, it's useless. Over time, it naturally gave up. However it still refuses to submit, the doyen had said, whenever it submits will be the time to undo the chains. Huisuo space beast, one of the 12 pinnacle bloodlines of the space beast, it stood beside the golden horned beast. However it wasn't a swallowing type beast. It was a thunder and time space beast. It was naturally sly and vicious. It only had one natural ability, time stop. Even though it was just one ability, its power was unimaginable. Combined with its innate slyness and vicious character, the time stop ability made the battle strength and fleeing ability of the beast shocking. It could completely stand beside the golden horned beast and the flaming star beast. Luo Feng looked at the distant Huisuo beast squatting there. In his mind, the scene of the 10 billion humans and 300,000 universe soldiers instantly being reduced to ashes appeared. Fate, this is fate. The weak are fated to become slaves, no matter how unyielding. The strong. As long as I become strong, I will be able to control my fate. Luo Feng stared hard at that beast, wanting to carve that image into his memory. If one day he had to use his golden horned beast body and some absolute being were to capture him, he would probably be used as a pet too. I cannot allow that. Luo Feng thought. Your Majesty, please stay here. I will take the letter from the tribe leader to see the doyen, and report to him the details. If he agrees, Your Majesty would be able to enter the sacred land to study the sacred tablet. Elder Sai Fan Chi smiled. Luo Feng took a deep breath and smiled. Elder Sai Fan Chi, thanks. Ha ha. The elder turned and smiled at Kashna. Kashna, stay beside His Majesty, and don't go running around. Yes, teacher. Even though Kashna said so, his eyes were lingering on that huge Huisuo beast. The elder shook his head, and became a beam of golden light, that swiftly flew towards the Doyen Palace. He then stood outside for a while before entering. Luo Feng and the group stood at the foot of the mountain. Are you interested in the Huisuo beast? Luo Feng looked at Kashna. Kashna nodded, laughing. The Huisuo beast is able to defeat normal undyings with its Sector Lord Pinnacle strength. It's very powerful. It's also the only space beast in the entire Laos world. If I don't observe it well now, once it dies, I won't have the chance anymore. Then go closer and take a look. Luo Feng said. Kashna was stunned. Luo Feng however brought Dylan and the group, heading towards the beast. After a while, they stood in an empty plot of land. Ahead were several guards that surrounded the Huisuo beast and stood guard. Human, please do not proceed any further. Otherwise, you will be attacked by the locking technique that binds this area. A man in gold armor with an emblem on it said. Since he was speaking to a human, his attitude was extremely friendly. Locking technique. Luo Feng looked over. About 1,000 kilometers around the Huisuo beast, there were peculiar engravings, complex engravings that were carved deep into the side regions, almost like a drawn prison. What complex space engravings? Luo Feng frowned. The Huisuo beast was 620 kilometers tall even when squatting. The huge beast, however, was trapped within a 1,000 kilometers area prison. This was akin to a human trapped in a prison with a diameter of 2 to 3 meters, which was extremely uncomfortable. However, because of the black star chains and the locking techniques, it couldn't get out. Fresh blood and fur. Luo Feng looked at the dried black blood stains in the vicinity, along with the torn-up fur beside them. These were obvious signs of the Huisuo beast's struggle from before. Fur and blood stains. Luo Feng thought. This beast is at the Sector Lord Pinnacle level. Then, if I were to acquire its fur, when I reach Sector Lord level, won't I be able to produce a Huisuo beast clone? Many thoughts immediately appeared within Luo Feng's mind. He was calculating if this move was worth it. As he only had one internal world, this natural ability was using the internal world to clone. And he was set to only have at most 3 clones. Even if he made another golden horned beast, as there wasn't another internal world, hence he couldn't produce another 3 clones. Thinking about it simply, one would immediately understand, if another golden horned beast clone meant having 3 more clones, then that way, the number of clones he would have would be ridiculous. Hence this wasn't realistic at all. The Huisuo beast only had one technique. Natural ability, time stop. This technique was somewhat similar to the golden horned beast's strengthen. Both techniques that were naturally triggered from the engravings on their surface. As it had nothing to do with their internal worlds, the moment Luo Feng had a Huisuo beast clone, he would be able to unleash this heavenly technique. This even goes against the natural order of things. Time stop, it's definitely a very terrifying ability. Whether it's attack or fleeing, it's extremely useful. The more Luo Feng thought about it, the more he was anxious. If he were to suddenly unleash this move in battle, he could use the chance to kill his opponent. What level of strength was this technique? Of course these natural abilities weren't invincible, like if a universe-level Huisuo beast were to use its time stop, it couldn't stop the time flow of a Sector Lord warrior. This move wasn't invincible, it was just incredibly strong. Stronger than Luo Feng's strengthen. My current strength isn't enough, and my experiences aren't enough either. I may have a better choice in the future. Luo Feng looked at the mountain-like beast locked there. However, if I can acquire its fur and keep it just in case. After I experience more in the future, I can pick the most suitable one after. However, I have no way in. Luo Feng frowned. He was only Domain Lord level 9 now. He definitely wouldn't make his decision immediately. If he picked the Huisuo beast immediately, and encounter some miraculous encounter in the future that would be even more suitable, wouldn't he regret it? Back then in Blood River World, he had seen that beast god, from then he was very clear. There were many special life forms in the universe, and there were even some in his inherited memories. These life forms were extremely rare and few. Some were destined to be the only one in the universe when born. Not enough to even be a race. However, some powerful life forms, like the beast god, their strength far exceeded the sector lord level. And the clones that Luo Feng could produce could never exceed his main body. It could at most reach sector lord pinnacle. He could do clones, yet only a few of them. Now he was only left with the final slot. The moment he wasted it, he would never get another chance. I'll just wait. I'll wait till I reach sector lord pinnacle, or discover a surprise that would definitely not make me regret. Luo Feng thought. As the Goldhorn race was subservient to humanity, being subservient for countless years against the humans, they naturally always felt inferior within. This internal tag within made them feel extremely proud whenever one of their geniuses was able to win over a human genius. Race glory. In face of this glory, they weren't afraid of death. As long as they succeeded, then their name would be very well known, even more so than an undying. Human genius, I challenge you. If you have the guts, you will accept my challenge. Human genius, I Kang Duo challenge you. The group of Goldhorn race youths all issued their challenges, even the youths that weren't getting along with each other. All of them were from different tribes, with green, red, white, purple skins, however they all had a gold imprint on their foreheads. Fighting spirit. And hope. The hundreds of youth looked at Luo Feng, their eyes were all filled with hope for a battle with Luo Feng. To be able to battle with a human genius was an extremely rare occurrence. Firstly, the human geniuses that came were rare, and it was mostly sector lord geniuses. Hence, it was very rare to meet a domain lord level 9 genius. Even if one really came, some human geniuses that felt weaker wouldn't even accept the challenges. To challenge, to get incredible glory. The battle had to be very fair. The inferior tag within made the Goldhorn race people even more harsh on their quest for fairness. If the human genius was domain lord level 9, then the challenger must be a domain lord level 9. Even if one was domain lord level 7 or 8, they definitely wouldn't even show up, not even a sector lord level 1. This was a disgrace to them. Your Majesty. Dylan smiled at Luo Feng. So many have come to challenge. Luo Feng shook his head and smiled helplessly. This was definitely a surprise. Please accept my challenge. Human genius, please accept my challenge. The group all spoke precise human universe language. After all, with their consciousness at this level, they would only take a while to learn the language. Humans. The black-skinned youth's gaze landed on Luo Feng, quickly confirming they were humans. You are the leader. The black-skinned youth was shocked as he saw Luo Feng. From the way they stood, he could see that Luo Feng was standing right in front, the undying Dylan stood at the side and the 5 sector lords and Kashna stood behind. How do you do? Luo Feng smiled at him. Ha ha. That threatening intrepid youth revealed a smile, and his gaze landed on the youths around. I understand now, no wonder you are all gathered here. Joai, you are here too. Ha ha, looks like everyone wants to challenge the human genius. This black-skinned youth that looked like steel stared at Luo Feng. Human, I, Bei Chuang of the Doyen Palace, officially challenge you. This Bei Chuang sure is disgusting. Bei Chuang receives guidance from the Doyen Palace, he's very strong. The thousands of Goldhorn race youths were discussing. Bei Chuang. Luo Feng looked at the youth. From one look, he could tell this youth was indeed domain lord level 9. Please accept my challenge. The black-skinned youth's eyes were like lightning, almost like they wanted to eat Luo Feng up, staring straight at him. Luo Feng shook his head and smiled. He was about to reject him when he saw the distant thousands of Goldhorn race youths, thinking suddenly, Doyen Palace. Looks like my human status has indeed riled up many geniuses to challenge me. This never-ending challenges. I should simply accept one and display my strength, at least the weaker ones won't disturb me. Please accept my challenge. The intrepid youth roared again. I'll accept it, but you have to agree to one condition. Luo Feng looked at him. The youth Bei Chuang was stunned, after which he revealed a look of glee. Staring at Luo Feng, speak, what's your condition? I heard the other guards before submit to your order, you should have a pretty high position in the Doyen Palace, right? Luo Feng pointed to the Huisuo beast that was not much shorter than the huge Doyen Palace. I've never seen a space beast before, hence I want to get closer to take a look, is that okay? Close distance. Bei Chuang frowned. Going in is a small matter, but that Huisuo beast has the strength to kill even normal undyings. If you go in, safety. Human genius, if he were to die within the Gold Horn race world. The consequence would be disastrous. Relax. Luo Feng looked at Dylan beside him. Dylan nodded. Dylan was after all an undying close to official level, he was very strong. Since you can guarantee your safety, viewing the beast from up close is a small matter, I can make the decision. The youth Bei Chuang looked at the guard within the locking technique. Let these humans go in and see, let them go in through the safe way. Yes, Commander. The group of guards complied. Seeing the Huisuo beast up close, this was indeed a small matter. From just looking, what could possibly happen? Several powerful people with backgrounds in the Gold Horn race would frequently go up close to look at the beast. This was after all the only space beast in the entire Laos world. The metal door opened. This is the only path in without triggering the locking technique. Bei Chuang said. Luo Feng smiled and brought his group through the path into the 1,000 kilometers area. That area was where the beast was locked up. Walking within the wilderness, one could smell the strong scent of the Huisuo beast throughout. On the ground, one could see the black blood stains along with some scattered fur. Luo Feng, those blood stains that have been there too long can't be used to produce another body, the fur that hasn't completely decayed however definitely can. Barbata's voice resounded within Luo Feng's mind. Luo Feng knelt down and gently touched a strand of fur. A strand, in truth, was even thicker than a huge tree trunk. One strand alone was a few meters thick, its length reached a shocking few kilometers. Hence, from far it looked thin and soft, like a gorilla's hair, however compared to that huge over 1,000 kilometers tall beast, it was normal. With one glance, one could see scattered fur all over, any spot around it had a few hundred strands. The entire wilderness region had fur all over. Bei Chuang, can I take one strand as a souvenir? Luo Feng turned and asked. Bei Chuang, who stood outside the locking technique, was curious, a strand of hair as a souvenir. Those things were rubbish. Only very few of their race people that went up close to the beast took the strands as souvenirs. In truth, they were useless. Human, of course you can take a strand of the fur. Bei Chuang shouted. Thanks. Luo Feng nodded, after which he kept the strand of fur into his space ring. All done, with this fur. I can use the golden horned beast's natural ability, and produce a Huisuo beast. Luo Feng thought, after which he headed to where the beast was. He looked up and got closer. Looking at the bound beast squatting there, the space beast that was supposed to roam free and dominate the universe, was like a bound cat or dog, it was a tragedy. And with Luo Feng's special status, looking at its plight, he felt sorry for it. Howl. A low howl resounded within the mountains. The beast that squatted there opened its huge eyes, the greenish-gold eyes gazed at Luo Feng below. Luo Feng looked up at it, Dylan stood beside ready. Human, the Huisuo beast let out a low sound. How do you do? Luo Feng nodded. One human and one space beast, one looking up while the other looked down. In their eyes. They could feel their similarity. The same ice-cold disposition. Same raging killing intent that was hidden. Luo Feng had hidden his killing intent, because he was in his human body, the Huisuo beast had done the same, because it was bound up and controlled. Human. The beast's voice went straight to Luo Feng's mind. The feeling you give me is very intimate. You and I are very alike. Alike? Luo Feng was shocked within. Right? Alike, because from an absolute level, he was a space beast too. If he had the ability, he would definitely save this Huisuo beast. However, he was only using his human genius identity, and with the Doyens at the Universe Knight level nearby, even if they were subservient to humanity, the Universe Knights wouldn't be easy to deal with. Is there anything I can do to help you? Luo Feng asked mentally. No need. The Huisuo beast's greenish-gold eyes gazed down at Luo Feng, it communicated, you cannot help me, and with the Doyen from the palace beside had given me a promise after he had bound me for 3 million years. As long as I can break through to undying, he would release me. What? Luo Feng was shocked. There was actually such a deal. A deal after binding the beast for 3 million years, that Doyen must have respected the space beast's obstinate character and strength. However, from within his bones, that powerful Doyen definitely wouldn't give up the beast that easily. Hence he gave the beast the condition of reaching undying. Reaching undying, is it very hard? Luo Feng asked. Thousands to tens of thousands of times harder than you humans. The beast said. I can already easily defeat normal undyings, yet I'm still unable to break through the final door. I've already survived for 20 million years, breaking through to undying, I definitely can, definitely. Human. It was rare for me to meet a life form I feel close to. I've said enough, you should go on. The Huisuo beast closed its eyes gradually. Luo Feng sighed. Right. He couldn't help it, even going to study the sacred tablet, he had to make a request and see if the Doyen agreed. He had no right to request anything. Your Majesty Luo Feng, why are you in there? Luo Feng turned to look. Outside stood the gold-armored elder Sai Fan Chi. Luo Feng brought Dylan and his group along the pathway out. I went close to see the Huisuo beast. Luo Feng looked at the elder. How's it going, elder? Elder Sai Fan Chi laughed. After chatting with the Doyen for a while, he nodded and agreed to let you go study the tablet. Also, you'll be specially studying it in isolation alone for a month. And, when you are done studying the tablet, Your Majesty can choose one copy of any of the techniques stored in the sacred land. Study it alone for a month and a copy of a technique. Luo Feng was shocked. The tablet is after all just there for study without any system or method, and the techniques within the sacred land are the systematic techniques left by the great beings of our race from the past. They are all space and gold combination techniques, they suit you well. The elder smiled and said, Your Majesty can pick any one of them. Of course, just one. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed, immediately nodding. So you are called Luo Feng. You've seen the Huisuo beast up close already. You are not planning to postpone our match till after your study of the sacred tablet, are you? The greenish gold-armored black-skinned youth standing not too far away spoke, his voice fierce. Let's go challenge now and battle. Luo Feng looked at him. Your Majesty Luo Feng, you are battling him. Elder Sai Fan Chi was shocked, communicating mentally, Your Majesty, don't agree. You just reached the Domain Lord level 9 not long ago. This Bei Chuang, however, is part of the Bei Ji genius brothers nurtured by the Doyen in the palace beside us. In terms of law comprehension, in accordance with how you humans grade it, he should have the ability to pass the Heavenly Bridge's 9th level. Luo Feng was stunned. His law comprehension had reached the level of passing the 9th level of the Heavenly Bridge. Damn. The most pinnacle geniuses of the Gold Horn race were terrifying. Part 2 end here.